If you've ever been betrayed by a family member, spouse, coworker, or friend, you know what a horrible feeling that is. In fact, in many countries, treason is a capital offense. And Jesus would know what it would be like to be betrayed, because he would be betrayed by one of his closest companions, one of his own disciples. Now, Jesus had been in the temple teaching and challenging the power and the authority and the popularity of the religious leaders. And they began to look for a way to have him to be killed, but they wanted to do it in some sly way because of his popularity with the people. And they found a willing accomplice in Judas, one of Jesus' own disciples. Judas came to the chief priests and he asked them what they would give to him to have Jesus handed over to them. Judas had been stealing money from the purse of the disciples, and he was filled with greed. And so they gave him 30 pieces of silver, about a third year's wages perhaps, to have Jesus be handed over. And so Judas began to look for that opportunity. Now Jesus knew that Judas was going to betray him. I've often wondered when Jesus came to know that. Did he know that when he first picked him as his disciple, or was that revealed to him later? But he certainly knew the night that he was going to be betrayed, what Judas was going to do. And he gathered the disciples in an upper room where they shared a Last Supper meal, the taking of the Passover. And that night, Jesus said to them, "One of you tonight is going to betray me." And they all denied it and said, "Surely not me, Lord." And Judas said, "Surely it is not I." And Jesus said, "Yes, it is you." Then Jesus took this Last Supper meal and he gave them the bread and he said, "This is my body, take it in remembrance of me." And then he took the cup and he said, "And this is my blood, poured out for forgiveness of sins, take it in remembrance of me." And when they had sung a hymn, they went out on the Mount of Olives. There Jesus told them that that very night that they would all desert him. And they all said, "No, Lord, we will surely never do that." And Peter said, "Lord, I will never desert you." And Jesus told him, "Peter, before the cock crows in the morning, you will deny me 3 times. And he told them, "Stay here while I go and pray." Then he took Peter, James, and John and went a little further. And he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay awake while I go and pray." And then Jesus went off and he prayed. And he said to the Father, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me," meaning the cup of suffering. What Jesus was saying is, if there's another way for salvation to come, for redemption to be made possible, rather than go to the cross, let's do that. But he said, "Not my will, but your will be done." When he came back, he found that the disciples were asleep, if you can imagine. And he told them, "Couldn't you stay awake?" A second time Jesus went off to pray and he prayed the same prayer. And he came back and again they were sleeping. A third time he went off to pray the same prayer, asking the Father to take this cup of suffering away from him. And it seems that the Father's answer was there was no other way, that Jesus had to go to the cross in order for us to receive salvation. And he came back, and a third time the disciples were asleep. And he said to them, "Are you still resting and sleeping? Awake and arise, here comes my betrayer." And Judas came with the soldiers, and they came to arrest Jesus. And they had arranged a signal that Judas would show who Jesus was by kissing him on the cheek. And when Judas approached, Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you came for." And Judas betrayed his master, his rabbi, with a kiss. And the disciples decided to fight, and one of them pulled out a sword and cut off the ear of the high priest's servant. But Jesus told them to put their swords away. He said, "Don't you think that I can take care of this? That I couldn't call 10,000 angels, 10 legions of agents to come and destroy this whole place if I wanted to?" But he said, "How then would the scriptures be fulfilled?" And when he said this, the disciples deserted and fled, and left him utterly alone. Why did Jesus die? Well, it seems because he was willing to do so. Jesus had so many opportunities to avoid death if he wanted to. He could have not gone into Jerusalem. He could have hung out in the suburbs. He could have not confronted the religious leaders. He could have called 10,000 angels to destroy those who came to arrest him. And Jesus allowed himself to go to the cross because he wanted to give us salvation and redemption and to bring us back into a relationship with God and others. If you've ever felt alone, know that Jesus has felt those same things. God understands when we feel abandoned by others. He knows and He cares. Why do you think that Jesus willingly went through this? And what does this make you think about your relationship with God?